Welcome to the July 2023 edition of the Tough Love Arena State of the Game stream. This is a monthly stream where I tell you all about the state of the game. I will be your host. My name is Paul. I'm one of the co-creators of one of the co-creators of Tough Love Arena. And we're just going to do a quick status update. What have we been working on recently? What's going on with the game now? What sort of, what do we have cooking? And what's some stuff coming up in the near future that you can look forward to or check out? Now, in case you missed the last one of these, due to a personal travel schedule, the June state of the game was like 2 weeks ago, so we don't have a whole bunch to announce, but there is one spicy thing. So we'll just blaze through this real quick. Again, it's only been 2 weeks, and they've been a pretty busy 2 weeks, so all I've really gotten done is fixing some bugs with the boss characters. I made some decent progress, some of it on stream, on changing throw teching, and doing some sort of offline prep for some of the upcoming events that we'll talk about in just a few minutes. We had the monthly survey. I forgot to plug it in the news, so we didn't get a whole lot of entrants, but I thought it would be fun to collect some of the feedback I got on the individual characters. You can read it for yourself. I'm not going to read these all out loud. I don't think that's a great use of your time. But the main thing that stood out is that Rice uniquely had no votes for like a 5 on the strength scale, and also no votes for 5 on the fun scale. So some of the critiques have been a little bit, I've been hearing for a while, like meter hungry. Some of them I've been hearing for a long time, which is that their kit is pretty, it's not as generalized as something like a Lemon or like even a Frenzy. And this is an issue I've talked about in the past. And Swipe was like a big shift a year and a half ago, or whenever I added it, to actually adding some variety to Rice's kit. And we've iterated on that a lot. So it's still not in the best place, but I hear you. Otherwise, some interesting comments on parries, both of them beef and onions, and then a lot of nice things at the end. So, Joro, how is jump cancel too big? They were specifically talking about for onion. I think all of the jump cancels, the alternative jumps, I have larger hurt boxes to make them easier to anti-air. And Onion's hurt box is so low that they were getting anti-aired by an opposing a mirror Onion's hop kick, which looked kind of weird. So something I'll take another look at when I have a chance. So thank you for everyone who filled that out. We'll do another one at the end of this month for sure. So if you didn't get a chance to tell me your thoughts, I want to get back into the habit of doing it every month. We just had a particularly busy early summer, so we dropped the ball on a few of them, but to be continued. Present, what am I working on right now? A variation of the slide I showed last time. A lot of these are sort of in varying degrees of early to mid to late progress. So I'm hoping to, right now they're in rough order of priority, I guess. Actually, better order of priority would be something like that. So I'm eager to finish this up, but it's big and sort of hard going. So when I want to break from that, because it's much more difficult work, to be honest, it's hard to work on in short bursts. I've been goofing around with throw teching, and I've got a long running balance patch that I'll probably put back on Canary pretty soon. For people to test with. In here are some solutions for like Pork's jump cancel and Onion's multi-parry. Thank you for the good comments on the last state of the game and in Discord. But most of it is about like beef and palm and shared tools. Next up, I see some questions. I'll save those for the Q&A. What are we doing? What do we have coming up for you, my wonderful players, to look forward to? Well, first, a reminder, Defend the North. We're going to be in Brooklyn in my backyard in 2 weeks, a week and a half. So definitely, if you're local, please stop by. I'll have a booth. And I didn't end up getting a side tournament running. I'm looking forward to just having like a pretty low-key weekend. So come stop by. We'll have a casual setup. We'll have some merch. and I'd love to meet you and play some games. Happy to announce that we have a date for the summer tournament. No promo art at this time, but the challenge bracket is now up. It's going to be the last Friday of July. So it's going to be our quarterly major. There will be skins for the taking. However, we didn't do skins this time. I want Amy to just focus on getting garlic done. The skins were like a really fun distraction to the previous events, but it really slowed things down. So instead, I'm just going to send out a form. The redemption form will have all of the skins, all 18, from birthday, Halloween, and April Fools, and you can pick any of them that you wish. But the important thing in my mind... Did it just start raining? Oh my god, it's pouring out there. The important thing in my mind is just having a big major on the channel and getting everyone buzzed about it. So I'll be running that with hopefully my usual stable of TOs. And please sign up if you can. It's free to enter. There'll be prizes, even just for entering, in the form of skins. And if you get on stream, you'll be immortalized in a VOD on our bangin' YouTube channel. So, Taylor Rice, top 8. You choose a set, and I'll give you the entire set. Yeah, down to geolocate Paul. I live in New York City. I think it's raining everywhere in New York City. Cool, so you can just type that into your browser, challenge.com/TLA Summer, or if you go to our events page, it should be up there now. If you scroll down a little bit, ta-da, TLA Summer Tournament. So you can go ahead and sign up there. I have a link to the Twitch, and if you like to make G-Cals and stuff, I have those there too. Moving on, confirming again that we will be at EVO. We are confirmed for there. Oh, registration isn't open. Let me fix that. Good catch. Registration. Oops. Okay, should be good to go now. Thank you for calling that out. EVO. We will be at EVO. We, unfortunately, is me. Amy will not be attending EVO this year. But I'll be there. Phil is confirmed to be there. He's going to help me set up and tear down and probably hang out a little bit. And definitely swing by. I know that they're going to have like a whole indie presence like they did last year. It was super cool. I met a lot of really nice people and played a lot of really cool games. Hopefully Moonatics is there again. That's the one I most want to play again. But I'm super excited. And that's just the weekend after. So if you can't make it to EVO, you can always play in our official tournament. So the next 3 weeks are very busy. And I guess we won't have a state of the game that week, maybe? I'll figure it out. Stay tuned on Twitter to figure out where we're doing for August. But yeah, these are like the last of main events of the year, to my knowledge. I'm not planning anything else. I think there might be something in Connecticut in a couple months that I might check out, but I forget what it was called, or if I already missed it. But EVO's sort of the last big one, so hopefully I'll see you there. And last big announcement that I couldn't share last day of the game 2 weeks ago because it wasn't official until a week and a half ago, but I am leaving my day job. This is a good thing. I'm taking a break. I decided that it wasn't a good long-term fit for me. Now, I'm not taking like another full year off to work on TLA full-time. This is just going to be a shorter break while I transition to maybe a different career. I'm going to experiment with some different options. I've got some leads. But at least in the short term, I'm going to take a little bit of break. I'm going to relax, I'm going to play some video games, and I'm going to be working a lot more on TLA, at least for a couple months. So definitely look forward to that. And as soon as just like a few weeks, I'll start doing daytime streams again and hopefully start banging some of these out. So yes, I'm very excited. Anytime, I don't have a job, it's a little scary, but I'm very excited to take this break, and I'm very excited for what I'm pursuing next. But it also makes sense to just put a little break in here and try and get some TLA done. Cool. And now we will move on to the Q&A. That's it for the state of the game. Please, if you have questions, repost them now. I'm not going to scroll up. and I'll read questions for as long as y'all have them, or until I get tired, and we'll call it a night. I will reply to one question that's a little bit earlier. Easton says, "Are you entering SF6 at EVO?" No. I plan to play casuals a lot, but I'm not entering anything because if I need to be at the booth or if I need to be available for something, I don't want to be have to deal with a bracket. So I definitely want to play games and play casuals and hang out with people and explore other things. I found a really good balance of this at Combo Breaker a month or two ago, where I'd be at booth for most of the day, but then I'd put up a sign and say BRB, and I'd go check out other things. But committing to pools and just like standing around for an hour waiting for a match, I don't have time for that. But it's a shame. I have been playing a lot of SF6. I'm currently putting a lot of time into Manon, and she's very neat. I think it's okay to share, I played a long set with Phil last night, and even though I definitely lost the set, like, pretty badly, I convinced him that Manon is OP and fucked up, so, I've got that going for me. Flamenco asked, what about the controversy regarding the removed panty shots from Nexus Friends? Context for anyone watching this video without having played Tuffle Arena, all the characters are nude. It's like, there are... it's funny, but it is meaningless. I just want to clarify that in case this gets clipped out of context and I'm seen laughing at some, like, sexual controversy or whatever. Also, I should switch to the camera. 1 second. Kevin asks, will Palm Change kill pork? So, definitely not kill pork. That's not the intention. The Palm Change is meant to be like a buff. Not that I think they need it, but like I want it to be viable and neutral, so it has to do something that can compete with 5H, which is a very good button. I will say, it kind of, in testing, some of the early feedback I got from my patrons in the Canary branch before I put it on pause because Combo Breaker and all this other crap, someone pointed out that it was kind of redundant with Chop. Like, they were using it in the same places they would use Chop in terms of like I'm outside of my range, or I'm going to try and like do a delayed with punish of this. But Chop being better because Chop has, Chop has armor. So this might mean I end up nerfing Chop if I want this to be sort of the poking button and then Chop gets nerfed as a result and doesn't move as far forward. That might be an angle I explore in order to make this move, have some utility. So in that case, that would hurt Pork, but the goal is definitely not to ruin Pork. I think Pork is a lot of fun. Pork's in a decent place. I've got some interesting ideas on buffing their grab. We'll see. Joro asks, Paul, how come there are not VODs on Twitch? Basically, I kept getting... When I do these streams, I always put them on YouTube for posterity and because I like the timestamp feature and everything else. And you can leave comments. I really like, I like YouTube for long-term storage. And for my dev streams, I like to listen to music that may or may not get me in, like, copyright trouble. So most of the times my VODs got flagged anyways. Disabled, or I get, like, a warning email about do this again and your account is a strike. So I just removed VODs entirely to avoid that. Anything worth watching again, it will be... My beard is like going this weird direction. I need to trim. Anything worth rewatching, I tried my best to archive on YouTube. Joro asks, will the Palm patch likely be out before the TLA Summer Major? Given that that's in 3 weeks, that is a maybe. I think it is possible, but it's also not like my priority. I'm not rushing to get that done. If I get like a good flow and I'm just like cranking on the matchmaking thing for a week, I'll just do that and not have the bounce done in time, because I don't want to change the meets kit without a lot of confidence at this point. Wilton says, when was the last time you played TLA for enjoyment? I will say I've been playing TLA for enjoyment at the recent TLGs. It's been a long time since I've just like randomly hopped in queue. I'll grant you that. But I've been enjoying playing in TLGs lately, and I've already signed up for the one this Friday. So if you want to play me again there, I'll be there. Fredray says, what's the ups to the progress on Garlic Drip? I don't know exactly. You can definitely ask Amy anytime. But I know it is progressing. But Amy also just has a lot going on with work right now, so it's been slow and steady. Table says, is the tech going to be added? That all depends on sort of how it really plays out. I have this vision of how it could work and try and strike this balance of being like easier to execute and less punishing for the aggressor in a way that makes it like where I keep the goal is to make it even more friendly for beginners without making it trivial for, you know, just like experts tech it all the time or something. So it needs work. It is a complicated enough problem, and I've been humbled enough times in this process where I thought something would work great and it didn't, that I'm not gonna, you know, promise that throw tagging will definitely happen. But I'm very confident in my current vision, and once it gets closer to the place of being able to play test it, I'm very excited to iterate on it. Esid asks, give Caber the Manon's medal system? Kappa. No. Table says, what is the update on Rice and SWAT damage? I appreciate you bringing that up, Table, but I have not looked at it at all. The time I have had on the game in the last 2 weeks has been focused on offline events and throw teching and bug fixes. Wilton says, increase the chop extended hurt box. I know a lot of people have a tough time hitting pork there. Good suggestion, Wilton. Kevin asks, are you smart? To sound extremely pretentious and quote, the great mind of Socrates, the only thing I know is that I know nothing. Do with that what you will. Vika says, Paul steals from... Okay, I'm not going to read that question. Joro says, someone sent me some of the leaked patch notes for the Palm patch, and it came with ... certain other changes. Might those be released before Summer Major separate from the Palm patch? No, my goal is... It's easy to refer to it as the Palm patch because that's kind of the biggest, most, I'd say, systemic change, but there's a lot of stuff in there. I'm happy to show it real quick. I won't do like a full demo of the gameplay and everything, but the patch as it is right now... Let me hop on over here. Swap. Up. For pull, and then I should be able to go to change room? Question mark? Uh-oh. What does this mean? Cannot find a defined. Oh gosh. Alright, well I won't show you the pretty version, I'll show you this version. Those are the current changes. Pending much more testing. Is that readable on this resolution? Looks a little sketchy. I'm gonna try and do that. There we go. Meep asks, Paul, did you know a modded CMV is in the works? I did not know that. I'm looking forward to it, Meep. Definitely send it to me, and I'll reshare it. I'll plug. Yes, I am aware that Meep has released 2 TLA CMVs. We watched them on stream. And yes, thank you for the reminder. I forgot I had that other one on there. Let me... that's going to be too laborious to bother doing on stream. Send me a DM, Meep, and I will leave it on red until I get around to it. but that's a pretty quick update. So, thank you for the call out. The rice change is annoyingly huge. Are you talking about the teleport buff? Yeah. It's between where it is now and where it used to be, basically. Tick throws? What are you talking about with tick throws? In the context of what change? Rice teleport. Yes, if you do the throw immediately, you would be able to grab them on the last armor frame. Yes, I agree with that math. Manko says I have more terrible ideas. Cool. Any other questions? Ooh, I forgot. I said, does Nightbot work? There. You can sign up for the major there. And also, don't forget our lovely weekly series hosted by Shiggy, TLG. You can find those on the event page or in the dedicated TLG Discord. Table, I replied to that just saying I have not had any thoughts. I have not thought about it in 2 weeks. Thank you for raising it. I'm not saying it's not a problem. Just, no worries, Table. No need to apologize. Just hasn't been top of mind. Kevin asks, I have a question. When Paul programmed all that, how did he learn all of that? That is a interesting question. It's the same way you learn anything. Kevin's little brother, little kryptonite, which is, to me, the best example with programming is math. Like, you have to learn, it's this building block type of learning, compared to maybe something like a biology or history that it can feel like sort of very wide. Learning about one country's history doesn't necessarily tell you anything about another country's history, although it might give you a model for understanding, certain politics and stuff. But, you need to learn addition before you can do multiplication. You need to understand multiplication before you can do factoring and exponents and everything else. And you just keep building on this year after year after year. And this is my first, I'd say, real video game. But before this, I made other very simple browser-based games that used keyboard input. I made very simple sprite-based graphics things. I had a project that I never released because the performance was terrible, but it was like this sticker thing where you could upload a GIF and then paint a GIF on this canvas and it would animate it. And that did a lot. That small project where I was just experimenting with graphics taught me how the graphics worked. The very simple version of Pac-Man taught me how to do keyboard input. And so by the time I got to building this game, there was still new stuff. Just like when you start a new math class, there's stuff you don't know, but a lot of it is familiar, and you're not learning everything all at once. Flamenco asks, recently I found myself wanting to get some quick games out while waiting for something to compile, and I could not get a game without opening Discord. Yeah. Flamenco says, I feel, and I want to know your opinion, that there could be some changes to the UX to make it more inviting to just jump on Quick Match, Ranked, and find some games. My hope with the training matchmaking, and this is the like that's the easiest way to refer to it in a snapshot, but it's more of a like always matchmaking while you're doing anything else. Like a lot of other modern games like Street Fighter 6 implements it. And I'm hoping that will help a lot with the like I can be matchmaking and also labbing or playing the arcade mode once it's finished, or you know, just goofing around and doing something. And then if someone else is playing online, I'm in a match. That is really my best. And also part of that will be, as part of rewriting all that, that also includes like queuing for both modes. So that is my hope for expanding the chances of finding people. Which it's like, you know, honestly, we've been out for 2.5 years. Like, I'm very pleased with the amount of players we still have at this point. It's hard for fighting games, especially fighting games with 6 characters, to stay relevant for this long. So I'm happy people still play it. I'm happy to still be that pick up and play experience, and I want to reduce as much friction as I can. But I also like don't think that just adding X is gonna suddenly bring us back to, you know, spring 2021 player numbers. That's just not happening. There's just too many other cool stuff happening right now. But these are also very good things that I've learned for my next fighting game, whenever that is. Maybe never. Esid asked the very good question: how to buff Rice but nerf Table. I will say this is the hardest part about designing Rice is Table is a very, very good player. So I do agree with everyone saying that like Rice is kind of weak now, but Table still wins weeklies, and that's made it hard to judge where Rice is at strength-wise. I'm saying in a very flattering way, it's all your fault, Table. But in a way that, no, you're not hated. I personally respect your talent. All went over his head, but thanks, Paul. You're very welcome, Kevin. Wilton says queuing both would be immaculate. Right on. Joro says, are 2 or 3 more characters still potentially probably, but definitely, but not maybe? Additional characters are at this point, like, almost certainly not. The closest to that is I might do a little bit more to legitimize, like, the boss characters, but, like, brand new characters, new animation at this point is, I'm very confident not going to happen. The development for this game is winding down. Part of my goal with this little break is to try and finish those big things left, because I want to be basically done with development by the end of the year. Hopefully sooner, but like I want to have the time and flexibility to pursue other projects starting next year. Now that said, I still plan to support TLA, and I'm still happy to do bug fixes, and I still would love to run like quarterly tournaments and all that kind of stuff. But I'm not going to work on this one game forever. So I plan to support it, and I plan to take it to conventions and everything, but it's I'm excited to work on something else. I'm excited to work on something different. Wilton says, how do you think a 1.0 release will affect community size? Not hugely. I think making it 1.0 might get us like a little bit of buzz. I think the bigger impact to our community size might be getting on the App Store, honestly. In terms of like any sort of organic engagement that can give us. But who knows? I've never actually released app. Maybe no one will download it, especially if it costs money. So I can dream that the 1.0 will bring people back, but like I also just don't know. Realistically, I don't know. Jaro asked the caber angle thing. Is it a lower and farther angle? Yes. The thing I'm experimenting with this part. Worse angle being shallow far, better being close high. So the high angle, it's easier to do lots of attacks. The far angle, you sort of just have to kind of like immediately do spike or immediately do heavy uppercut or something. Flamenco says, sweet, I do understand where indie fighters fall in the ecosystem. I'm just glad that you're realizing your vision for what a smooth experience is. Thank you, Flamenco. I appreciate that. Snowman goes home too. Yes, finally. Snowman goes home again. Flamenco says, I still think TLA absolutely dunks on like 9% fighting game features. Thank you, Flamenco. No, I'm very proud of... I will say, like, the praise I get from other fighting game devs, especially indie devs, is everything not doing with the gameplay. Not that I think they hate, like, people, they're not impressed with the gameplay. I'm very proud of my design there. But the place where I get sort of the most praise or envy from my peers, I would say, and what has allowed us to stand out, and I think build the audience we have compared to a lot of other indie fighting games, is, you know, that we're browser-based, that we do have a lot of these features, compared to a lot of other indie games being, you know, something that somebody threw together in Unity, and is just like a little bit harder to get running, and maybe doesn't have as many online options. So that was always our niche. I'm not sure about that, Joro, because there's also some changes in here about uppercut that might make pork too strong. Like, this is almost certainly not going to stay. Go to train. But I was experimenting with something where, like, uppercut puts you into this juggle state where you can get one more hit. So this would still mean like a very favorable knockdown. And this is where people were like, oh, this might be too strong. Something like that. I don't know. TBD. Alrighty. I think I will call it there. So thank you everyone for stopping by. I always enjoy doing these things, and there's a lot of really fun stuff I want to work on. So I do have another week of work, but starting next week I plan to do at least 1 or 2 daytime streams, start building back up the habit, and there's a lot in my future that I'm looking forward to, both inside and outside of TLA. So thank you all for being on the ride with me. It's been 2.5 years, which is crazy. I'm looking forward to 2.5 more years, even if not as active in development. But this game will always be my baby, and I'll always be repping it one way or another. And I have you all to thank for that. So, thank you. Otherwise, next time you'll see me will be next Monday night for DevStream. So I'll see you all then. Cheers. Oh, and I realized that the June state of the game is still not up on YouTube. So that will go up, and then this will go up, probably both next week, just with how busy I am this week. I think last month I need to do a little bit of editing too. That's why it's taken this long, because usually I'm getting up like a day later. So look forward to both of those later this month. And don't forget about the official tournament, Defend the North, and EVO. Hopefully see you there.